Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio, and today I'm going to show you how to make these Christmas trees because Christmas is just 6 months away, almost. So we're going to go into Designspace, and I usually start with these three shapes, or the shapes that I think I need. In this case, I'm trying circles, the square just as my eraser, and then the oval in case the circle doesn't work the way I wanted it to. And I'm just kind of positioning them right now because what I want to start with is the top of the tree. So I'm trying to get these two circles together, and if you look at the bottom down here, you can see the what's going to be the top of the tree, that little point there between the what are now ovals. They started out as circles. I'm going to go ahead and group those or weld them. And then I'll bring a piece down that I will cut from that weld. So I grabbed another one of the circles. I'm going to change the color just so I can see it a little bit better. And now I'm just trying to figure out my sizing. How big do I want this? And that looks a little too big to me. The top of that tree is going to be very Zeusian, if that's a word. This is a little bit better. And I think I can make this work. So I'm going to select the top piece that I welded together as well as the bottom piece, and I will slice those apart. But first I'm going to reposition it a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to select them and slice them. But first I want to make a copy of that for my sandbox because I might need to reuse it and I don't want to have to recreate it. So now that it's sliced, I can pull these pieces away, and there's the top of the tree. Now it's not quite finished yet, but you're starting to get the idea. So now I'm going to take some circle, and I need two of them, and I'm going to slice one from the other once I get it positioned where I think it'll make a nice tree branch. And I'm just playing with the sizing, kind of imagining what that bottom layer is going to look like. And once I think I like it, I will slice, or slice, yes, I'm going to slice. And I'll pull away all those extra pieces. I'm going to keep that one because it might come in handy, but I don't need these two. So now this will need resized, but I think you'll see where I'm going with this. So this was inspired by a die set actually that I saw, but I couldn't find it when I went back to look for it, so I don't know who made it. When I went back to look for it, I did find another one that is by Lawn Fawn. The bottoms of each layer are different, and I did create one based on that as well after I finished with this one, and I'll share both files with you. But if you prefer the dies, just Google search or whatever your favorite search engine is, layered Christmas tree dies, and you should be able to find it. Alright, so now I'm positioning this half moon piece or whatever you call it, and I'm just kind of lining it up at that bottom right corner of the top of the tree. And I'm going to make another copy of that because I'm going to want to keep a copy. And I'm flipping it because I realize I need to do it the same thing on the other side. Now, I'm just lining them up with where the points are kind of coming in together, and I'm saving a copy of those. I'm going to select both of these cutouts and I'm going to weld them together, and then I'm going to slice them from that center point part of the tree after I make a copy of it. I don't always remember to do that, but I'm usually much happier when I do. Alright, so now we've sliced those out, and we pull that away, and we pull that away. And one thing I didn't do there was I didn't center it, and I usually like to center everything because I like symmetrical. You could do that if you want to recreate this yourself. I'm still happy with the design, but normally I would have centered that. So now I need 2 more points at the bottom, or 2 more branches, if you will. And I'm going to just make another copy of my half moon, or it's not really half, I guess it's more like a third, quarter, I don't know. You know what I mean? Crescent. Is that what it's called? Crescent? Anyway, so I'm going to spin that around until I think it looks good, and I'm basically going to do the same thing. I'm going to slice it from the corner, the bottom right corner of the top of the tree, right there, lining that up to make sure I get a nice little point, positioning it where I think it looks good, and then I will make a copy, and I will flip it, and I will bring it over to the other side. Now at this point, I do try to line up the 2 points of those crescents so that you don't get this weird little cutout there between those branches at the peak of those branches. It sounds weird, but anyway, I'm zooming in here so you can kind of see how it overlays each other there a little bit. You've got the 2 points aren't quite lined up, so I'm going to fix that as best I can. And I thought dragging them down would work. It didn't exactly work, so I'm just manually moving them around until I think I've got them where I want them. Always double checking that bottom point corner to make sure it's kind of where I want it. It doesn't have to be exact. You can go above it and get the same effect, but you don't want to go below it because then you'll have an odd little shape there at the tip of that branch. So I'm still working on getting those aligned. I think that's pretty close. I'm going to weld it, and then I'm going to slice it. And if I remember correctly, I did this yesterday and then I got terribly ill and had to stop everything and sleep for 11 hours. Oh, okay, now that one did let me contour that piece out, so it did cut all the way through, which is good. So now you have the top of the tree. Now you can just keep building on this. You can enlarge it, stretch it out if you want, but all of them will be kind of the same. You'll have 4 points on them, or you can just build your next layer kind of the same way we did that one, which is what I'm going to do. So at each progressive layer, well, at least the middle layer will have more points than the top layer, or more boughs sticking out the bottom than the top layer. I believe the middle and the bottom layers are the same. I just enlarged the bottom layer. So I'm positioning that where I think it'll look good once it's layered on top of its, once the top is layered on the centerpiece. And I will bring in my square eraser here in a moment. And reposition it again just so I don't cut off too much. And this is always a little bit of trial and error, which is, that's just to be expected anytime you're designing something. I didn't get that quite centered. It wouldn't center for me the way I wanted it to. And that's probably because I didn't center everything or align it before I made my first cuts. But there I'm just cutting off the top. And I'm going to pull these away, and there it is. And we don't need that or that, so I'm going to erase all of that or delete it. I'm going to pull this back in, and now we're going to work on this middle layer, and we're just going to do the same thing. So I know this is going to be a little bit longer than I intended. I'm doing a voiceover because we had a heavy rain here yesterday and I wasn't feeling well, and so trying to keep my editing to a minimum, I'm just doing a voiceover. But I was able to create the 2 separate files, and I will share the other one with you as well. The good thing about these is you can make them larger or smaller. You can put one big tree on the center of a card, or you can put a couple of different size trees or turn it landscape and get a whole bunch of them on there. And by stretching them or making them taller or shorter, you can change the shape of them a little bit. And since it's not symmetrical, you could even flip it and have it look just a little bit different. It won't be a lot different, but it'll be a little bit different. So there's a piece for my bone pile. And now I'm going to bring these in, and once I get it where I think it needs to be, which needs to be a little bit more than that, we will start slicing out from that middle section. And once you get that first one made, you can just duplicate it and then flip it horizontally and move it to the other side. And then I do try to align them at the top and group them and center them over that middle piece. I don't always remember to do that, especially yesterday when I wasn't feeling well, but that really is best practice, at least for me, because I like symmetry. If you're okay with asymmetrical, and a lot of people are, and it's actually more organic looking, then don't worry about doing all that. I didn't like the placement or the rotation of that first piece, so I'm doing it again and just sliding it into place. Now I'm just lining them up, and I'm being a little more precise than I need to be. Remember when I told you it's okay to come above that tip, you just don't want to go below it because it will misshape the tip of your branch. So now that I've sliced it, we're going to delete the pieces we don't need. And there you go. So obviously we're not done with that one yet, right? We've got to add some more. So here I'm thinking, why not just use these pieces? They're already kind of what I'm looking for, but I always forget to hit apply the first time I go into contour. So now I'm going to bring this back over here. I contoured one of them out, so I was just working with one at a time, and I'm just kind of trying to figure out if this is even going to work and how much I need to angle it or if I need to enlarge it. So again, I'm just playing with it, and that's kind of the beauty of this. I mean, if you're just somebody who wants to just sit down and craft, then this might not be for you, but that's why I provide you the files, so you can just have fun making the files. I actually enjoy the designing part of it. I don't design anything too complicated. I am familiar with a few artists who make some amazing stuff, but they've got to be engineers because I don't have the know-how to do that. But this kind of stuff, it's not so difficult, and it's really cute, and for me it's just a lot of fun. So I'm still trying to position this right where I think it needs to be. And now I'm going to make a copy, flip it horizontally, and move it over. And you can see this isn't quite going to work because it's not big enough. I need to enlarge it so those points come together in the center without making that odd shaped tip of that branch. But I've gone ahead and welded them, so maybe I'm going to add one more or two more at the bottom. Yeah, it must be what I'm going to do. I'm going to add some more at the bottom. Contour one of them out. Didn't hit apply again, so it isn't just the first time that I forget to do that. frequently forget. I don't think you used to have to do that. I think that must have been an update. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So now I'm going to position this, and once I get it where I like it, I will again duplicate it and then flip it horizontally and move it into position. I'm going to delete all of that. I don't need that anymore. And here we go. We copy, we flip, and then we bring it up. So now I need to get those 2 points to come together so that it looks more natural. And I don't have that odd shaped bow. And this is the other thing, you can scoot those up. I mean, I don't have to work from the bottom, right? I talked about that earlier. Now, what I do need to do, and this might be where it didn't quite happen the first time, is I want those points to come all the way together, because if they don't, when I go to contour this out, it is still going to be one big piece, and I won't be able to get rid of that piece in the bottom in the center. Welding them together, and then I'm going to, I guess I'm looking to see if I did it properly. I'm not really sure. Okay, so let's try slicing. After I pull all that away, I can't go into contour because it's still all one piece. So that's what I was talking about. You want to make sure those points absolutely come together. So the good thing about this is I'm just going to undo everything. You can either use your arrow key, back arrow key at the top, or Control Z is what I usually use. And you just hold the Control key down and tap Z, the letter Z, as many times as you need to go backwards. So I'm going to have to reposition these again now that I've undone everything. And make sure I get those 2 points at the top of these cutaway pieces or my erasers to come together. But I don't want them to overlap so I get that weird little choppy bit either. So this takes a minute or two for me to get this just right. Or 3. Sorry. This was a full 24 hours ago. I'm feeling much better now. I don't know what that was yesterday, but it hit me fast and it hit me hard. Okay, so let's delete that and let's see if we can go into contour. It's not showing on the screen, but it is there, and look at that. I can delete that piece or contour it out. So now we've got our middle section. And I will drop it to the bottom, bringing the top of the tree to the top. Makes it look better so you can see those other branches. And now we have 2 layers done. And here's our 3rd layer. And I'm pretty sure I just resized this one. But you can make it completely different if you want. Just repeat the steps that we did in the top layer and the middle layer. But I didn't see the point in doing all that extra work. And honestly, I don't think I could have done a better job if I did it again, so I decided to go with it. So there you go. You've got a tree. Now I'm still just kind of playing with the positioning to see if I like it where it is, but yeah, there's your tree. Now you can make more layers. 3 seems to be a pretty good number, but you could make 4 or 5 layers. You want a really tall tree? You making a bigger card? You go for it. On my samples, I just pulled a scrap out of my scrap bin, and I probably started with too dark a green because then I had to find a dark green ink to go over it. I maybe could have used white to lighten some stuff up, but I think it worked out okay. So here we go. Yeah, that's your tree. So now the next steps I'm going to show you are let me explain. Let me back up a little bit. These branches, the top and all of the little points, they're very pointy. They're not rounded off at all. That's just the way they're cut. I have found in my experience that by not rounding them off, you're going to get not as clean a cut as you might like. It's going to kind of fray or split the cardstock depending on your cardstock. So I just changed the colors there so you could, get some definition. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each one of these layers and I'm going to do an offset. I'm not going to do a big offset. I'm just going to do a little one, but I'm going to use the curved feature on the offset, which I believe is the default feature. And that is going to make this a little bit easier to cut. It's going to give me a cleaner cut. Now I do use the medium weight where it cuts twice. And that does seem to help as well. But the offset rounds out those corners and it just keeps the blade going in one smooth motion instead of stopping at the corner and then coming back. So it just keeps gradually moving around. At least that's my thought process. So I'm just moving all of my stuff that's going to be in the bone pile over there, out of the way. And now here's my extra copy of the tree. So I did an offset for all three pieces there in case you want a background layer. You don't have to use it. You can pick and choose. You can use the first one as it is with the points. You can use the second one with the points and then the offset layer. Or you'll be able to use this third one here, which may not stay in the third position when I'm done, by the way. So you'll have to look at it to make sure it's the one you want. But now I'm going to do an offset for each layer separately. And again, I'm using a very narrow offset. The bigger the offset, the rounder those corners are going to be. That's fine. You could always resize it later. But I'd rather just start with the smaller offset so I don't have to do a lot of resizing. So now I've got 3 different layers there for the offset, 3 offset layers. So now I'm going to change the color of those. Actually, I think I might delete the original layer first. I'm not sure here. Oh, I was selecting all of them to move them out of the way. Okay, now I'm going to change the colors with the offset layers to match the colors on the others. Or sort of match. They don't match exactly apparently, but that's okay. So there you go. You can see they're rounded. Now, maybe that's not as natural looking to some people. I don't know. I don't mind it. It's not that you can't work with the more pointed or corner, the corner, I don't know what to call them, but the sharper bits. Those just don't hold up over time. And they might not even hold up to the cutting. And it didn't in mine, actually, when I cut my sample. But I like the rounded bit. So, but I'm going to leave you the choice. You can do whichever you want to do. Right now I'm just grouping my starter shapes and hiding them. I'm going to do the same with my bone pile. Feel free to play with those if you want to try this yourself. If you have any questions, you can always replay the video. But this is what I'm going to leave you with in this file. And I was pretty happy with it. I mean, it's my first try at these. I think I've done them before, but when I went into my design space and looked, I couldn't find them. So I don't know what I did with them. And I'm going to save it. And I'm going to call it, I believe, ECS, for Expressions Craft Studio, Layered Christmas Trees. And I'm going to save it in my Facebook shares. I should have saved it under Christmas as well, but I didn't. Probably could have saved it under Cased because it was inspired by somebody else, but it's not. I didn't copy it exactly. It was inspired by them. And I can't even remember who that was. Alright guys, well, this is our final project right here. And I've added some white splatter paint. It is actually a multi-surface paint from Folk Art, and it is a pearl acrylic paint, so it's it's not quite white, but it's pretty close to white, and that's what I did the dots with. I just added a little bit of water and sprinkled it with a paintbrush. Alright guys, till next time, this is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio. Grab the links on the Facebook page, which is linked below. Let me know your thoughts and comments. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And until next time, I hope you have a happy crafty day.